What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all the best composition, brawlers and tips for the championship challenge coming into the game Friday. So as always, I'm going to be giving you guys the best suggestions and whatever else. So before we jump into the video, make sure you're using the credit code in the shop. That'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alright guys, so jumping into set number 1, then we have a bounty shooting star. So as always with set 1s, they're typically fairly easy because you tend to face some of the people that just like to solo queue or just like new players, but for the most part should be nice and easy. So with shooting star, I don't feel like too much has changed with shooting star. The same like Nanny, Piper, Tick going to be really good options in shooting star. To be honest, it's kind of risky to go with both Piper and Nanny, just for the fact that you could obviously face off against an aggro composition, and Nanny and Piper combined might struggle a little bit, but overall both of them solid picks if you still want to go with them. And then there's a ton of other options that you can go in the range department. So you've got the likes of Eve easily a top 2 brawler in the game right now, even with the recent nerf to her range. She's like one of the brawlers that just insta gets banned in Power League. Like literally every single time, every single map, Eve gets banned. So that kind of tells a story that she's still strong, even on shooting stars. So if you've got an Eve unlocked, make sure you're using her, especially down one of the lanes. She's going to be able to just absolutely destroy the enemies, especially once she's got super. She's easily going to be able to cycle that. So other brawlers as well that are pretty interesting, the likes of Byron and Bell, both really strong brawlers. Of course, it's kind of up to you which one you decide to use. Like Byron and Bell, probably a little bit more easier to use than the likes of Piper and Nanny if you want to feel more comfortable with that. Brock is also an interesting choice on shooting star, especially if you're afraid of coming up against those throwers. You can easily just use 2 gadgets to destroy the mid wall, making it more open, allowing your more longer range brawlers just to destroy those throwers. And of course, like throwers are going to get countered by any sort of wall break. And then there's a few other options for likes of Leon can be pretty decent as well. Jean can be good. There's like a Max Pam synergy as well that's really good. Like Max had recently got a buff as well and can be good if played correctly. So shooting stars shouldn't be too much of a problem. Let's jump into set number 2. Alright guys, so going into set number 2, we have Brawl Super Beach. So Super Beach was Super Stadium. Obviously got a rename, but also the center stage gameplay in the background, don't mind that, just completely forgot to get gameplay for Super Beach. But anyways, talking about their best compositions to use on this map. So there's a couple of mids that you can use on this map. I still don't think the meta has changed too much from last time, other than the introduction of Eve. So again, I'll have to say it just in case you missed out last time. Eve, easily one of the best brawlers in the game right now. So if you have Eve unlocked, make sure you're using her as a mid brawler. She'll 9 times out of 10 beat that mid brawler just because of how strong she is. Just the amount of damage she can output on the map is just absolutely insane, and a lot of her shots just seem unavoidable. She's just easily the top mid in the game in my opinion. Then if you're not obviously comfortable using Eve or haven't got an Eve, there's a couple of other options. You can use the likes of Byron. He will synergize really well with a lot of lane options, especially if you look to go aggro with the likes of an Ashe. And then the likes of B can be really good solo. And then also Max, a really underrated pick as well, but only if you know how to use Max correctly, because it does take a lot of skill to play Max. But also they're going down for the lane options. And so I did briefly mention just send a Byron and an Ashe synergy right now in Power League, and a lot just in general in competitive. Byron and Ashe just seems to be so strong, especially on maps with a lot of walls. So if you're confident at using Ashe and Byron, that's definitely going to be a really OP synergy to make sure you get your hands on, because it's just so hard to stop an Ashe unless you've got a really hard counter like a Frank or something that can really deal with that tanky Ashe. Then you're just going to be able to run through the opposition because of how strong he is right now. So again, there's other lane options as well. You got the likes of Spike, Ruffs, Sandy, Ems. Ems is a really good pick when it comes to Brawl, just because she's pretty much good against most lanes, and then also can be really strong if there's any tanks that you're facing off against. Like Ems can basically like 1v3 if she has her super because of how strong she counters tanks. There's also a few other options as well. Ruffs can be pretty strong, especially with his wall break star power. If you can break open some of the lanes, it just allows your middle brawler to pop off even more. And like I said, not many other options, just because I just feel like the Eve, you know, Fang as well. I completely forgot to mention Fang somehow. Easily one of the best brawlers in the game. Maybe not so strong on this map in general, but you only need like one pop-off moment with Fang, as you guys probably know, and you'll just end up getting a team wipe. So that's going to be the best brawlers to use on Super Stadium. Let's hop into the next map. Alright guys, so jumping into set number 3 then, we have Knockout, Flare and Phoenix. So when it comes to Knockout, the same type of brawlers are always really strong in Knockout. It does change a little bit per map. But when it comes to Flare and Phoenix, I feel like there's like a core strategy involved with this Knockout map. So with this map, in my opinion, you have to have like a thrower in your composition, whether that's a Tick or a Sprout. They're the two best throwers when it comes to Knockout right now. You've always got to have one just in case the enemy team has a thrower themselves, because like you can cause so much pressure with a thrower, and again, if you don't have that thrower to then counter them, it can just be really hard. You're going to get pushed back a lot, and that's what you don't want to happen in a Knockout, is just get pushed back to your spawn. So again, always have that thrower. Even Fang just going to be incredibly broken to the best brawlers in the game right now. So if you've got them unlocked, make sure you're using them. There's a couple of other brawlers that you can use also to pair well with the likes of Fang. Like Byron is insane in the middle, especially that synergy with an aggressive brawler like Fang. You can just make so many amazing plays. Got the likes of Bell as well. They can just keep ricocheting the shots. Brock also really good on this map, because you can just use your gadget on those walls in the middle, make it nice and open. That's one kind of counter to throwers, at least being able to break open some walls, which is really nice. The likes of Pam can be really insane as well, because she's such a good counter to those aggro brawlers with that gadget. Ruffs can be pretty good if you're playing slow. Leon, just a good brawler overall to have because of his gadget. You can easily just play slow, eventually get your super and just cause some good pressure. So also really good as well. But that's probably about it when it comes to Knockout. Again, it's just certain brawlers that just pair it so well. I imagine a lot of you guys have got Fang already, and he's just an absolute beast when it comes to Knockout, especially when you use that new gadget. You can easily just build up your super and just kill every single brawler in a 1v1. So that's going to be set number 3. Let's hop into set number 4. Alright guys, so now moving on to set number 4, we have a Gem Grab Double Swoosh. So with Double Swoosh, there are quite a few mid brawlers that you can actually use. I really like Mr. P, just because it's a bit of an off meta, well, not really off meta, but a bit of a new pick to the meta, and especially with his porters can really help scout those lanes. But if we're talking about the most OP in the mid, it still has to be Eve, just because of how broken she is in the game right now. But again, there's multiple options you can use in the mid. You can use the likes of Jean as well. You can use the likes of Byron, Bell. There's quite a few mid brawlers that you can pick, but my top 2 has to be like Mr. P and Eve. So now talking about the lane picks, I feel like you have to have Spike. Spike is just so strong right now, and especially when it comes to Gem Grab, it's just so easy for Spike to win lane, and then also just put some chip shots into the middle brawlers. And again, it's just really easy to dominate. His super can easily block off a lane as well. It's just really hard to push into a Spike. And then there's a lot of other options you can pick as well down the lanes. I really like Crow because of how speedy he can be in the grass, and especially once you get your super, you can easily just jump onto the gem carrier. You can slow them and just cause so much pressure with that. And then there's also quite a few other lane brawlers as well. We've got the likes of Ems and Tara, also both really good with their speed gear and just really good at keeping control of the grass and have amazing supers to spawn trap the enemy with. Got the likes of Pam and Amber as well. Both can be a little bit harder to win your lane back with, but once you have your lane with both of those brawlers, it can just be leading to a domino effect of just constantly spawn trapping their enemies. But that's going to be it for Double Swoosh. Quite a simple map. Let's hop into the next one. Alright guys, so moving on to the final map, we have Hot Zone Ring of Fire. So with Ring of Fire, again, nothing has really changed from like a month or 2 ago, other than the introduction of Eve. Eve and Fang are 2 brawlers that you 100% need to have in your composition if you have them unlocked. I'll have to stress that again. Again, 2 easily best brawlers inside of the game. But if you haven't got either of those, there's a ton of different mid options you can go. The likes of Pam are just absolutely insane when it comes to Ring of Fire. You can just get so much pressure in the middle, and that's what it's all about with Ring of Fire. You need to at least focus like a couple of brawlers in the middle. That's where a lot of people go wrong with Ring of Fire. They tend to just go off into the lane. But if you're constantly just getting ticks in the middle over and over again, even if you keep dying, you're going to be winning the game. So of course, I feel like you need to at least send 2 people mid, and then maybe 1 brawler on the flank, like down the left hand side, try and get into the enemy's grass. So then again, there's a couple of other options you can go. Leon's really good at just being persistent, at constantly being aggressive over and over again. It's really hard to deal with a Leon that's constantly in your face, supering over and over again. You can be so aggressive. Spike is just amazing at keeping control and especially just blocking off certain areas with his super. It's just really hard to deal with a brawler like Spike. Rico can be pretty good to use as well. Crow can be amazing, especially with his slows and his jumps, being able just to get a lot of control. And then Lola can also be really good with her super, just being able to get some pressure as well. Mr. P can be like a good counter because a lot of people use the likes of a Crow and a Spike and other brawlers like that, but it can easily counter with Mr. P. So that is going to be the final set. Alright guys, it's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. You're going to have to ignore a little bit of the gameplay, especially that Ring of Fire one. Kind of got clapped inside of that one. But overall, the compositions are going to be the strongest ones. So definitely make sure you're using these compositions and also the tips that I did provide. And then also just a side note, with the championship challenge, there are 4 lives now instead of 3, so it should be a little bit easier for you guys to complete it. I know these 15 win challenges are super hard, trust me. I've been trying it with randoms and all sorts, and it's just really hard to get those 50 wins sometimes. So hopefully you guys can prevail with these tips and comps. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.